A million Butoi. It's May 10, 2020. I took a nap and I had a vision. One was, it's hard to be out. I passed a clear board kind of, and I passed lower, and I was like squatting, leaning forward, not too much, and that reminded me that, and the board like was clear, like crystal clear, and I went from right to left, and probably signifying not too good, which would have been left to right maybe. And it was weird. It's almost how I looked at myself, and it reminded me of that game that people were passing under, and I looked what it was, and so I searched. Google passing under the game, and it came Limbo. So me, I searched Limbo, and I had a vision about Limbo, and I think that's God also showing me and want me to teach something here. I spoke about with Bill Gates and stuff, and telling along with the vaccine, put it yesterday, and also told about the hypocrisy of people with abortion. Oh, let's abort them, they're going to God. But when it's your child, even when he's sick, you're trying to make him leave. So I was saying, do you think that God, without taking a vaccine, which by the way is if it's mandatory, it's a precursor of the mark of the beast, because they will track that, and eventually the mark of the beast is computerized. It's a system by a radio, which is a modem, 5G, 6G, that confirms that Archie Mountbatten that was giving money and telling people go buy a radio, it's gonna be $100. And as I asked him the stream how much, so that's a bit not scary, but it's a bit concerning, because we know that in the book of Revelation, the prophecy is the false prophet will 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 push that mark of the beast, that system. So false prophet might be the antichrist, none other. So hopefully it's not him. But what I wanted to say and is that when searching Limbo, it says that in some Christian beliefs, and I think Catholic like mine or other ones, is disposed about of soul of unbaptized infants and of the just who died before Christ's coming. And that remembers me something. It remembers me, I think I published it last year. I haven't checked all my video by far, as I don't have much time, unfortunately, but I'll try to clean that up. Is that I remember that one time God told me that, I think it was in the Limbo, it says like this: they haven't recognized him because they haven't seen him before. I think I published that in Facebook when I was reading a book about hell, demonic. I returned, selling my soul. I said no, and without chanting or praising the devil. After 2 weeks, when he started to demand, during that time, before or after, doesn't matter. But I remember I heard they haven't recognized him, meaning Jesus Christ, because they haven't seen him before. So people who died before Jesus, now we know around what he looks like, and that's why a statue like this is to inspire you. It's like a picture, but you don't love that picture, you love Jesus behind it. So people who say, oh, you're praising a statue, that's a false thing, unless that person is really, it's more that person that it's represented. It's not the statue itself. If it's a statue of the devil, it's not the statue, it's the devil you will praise. You don't understand? So people will say, oh, in the Bible it says don't statue. They still haven't upgraded their thinking, so to speak, just like Old Testament, New Testament. It's not a statue, it's what it is represent. uh, Despite that, me, when I go and let's say I believe I'm a Catholic, so Virgin Mary or Jesus, especially she always point that to me, even in spirit, when I close my eye up, take a picture in a place and you see the sun behind. So they ask you to look up. Eventually we remind to look up when we pray, not just down. But let's say in a church you cannot look up, it's not open air. It's just to inspire you that You bow head not a statue but to Jesus. That's the representation. That's what goes and takes you inside. So enough said about this. The reason why somebody is not all Catholic in the doctrine is because sometimes it's too heavy. It's not given to everybody to know that. That doesn't mean they ain't gonna be saved. But if they know better, like a Catholic, and they go under, then yes, the Catholic is the only way. Because now, and then I'm not God. But then it's dangerous to me, because if they knew about it, especially, then you're a traitor. You understand? Let's say you know more than the apostle, and Jesus wanted you to be behind him in the line when he walked, and then you go at the back by yourself. If something is, or you go away, so stuff like that. It's and a ticket went out. So yeah. So anyways, so it's a bullshit. I was asking for like pick 4 and stuff, and a dream came, which I will publish yesterday. I asked to be again against the star. I think that God, just like somebody reported, Einstein is saved. He was Catholic, but he's saved. Despite that, he was a good Christian. He was still an inventor or a scientist, but he used it for good, and he was trying to probably reform or not do too much evil around him by what he knew. Same thing. Some soldiers can be bad, some can be good, but I'm not gonna think about too much soldiers around here, because eventually fighting is not killing is not what we call, especially today after Jesus came. So but despite that, he's trying. I'm trying to get a decent living, maybe, and that I'm gonna talk about the other vision. I put it. I haven't uploaded, and every day there's something about coming. Has to do, I think, about the what do you call this again? Uh, Jesus, if it's your will, I'm gonna say it. If not, not. Amen. The black holes. So we'll see it, and God gave me the nearest black hole, and all this got stolen. That's fine. So the limbo. I also want to say a bit of informative here. That game is limbo, but obviously the Christian beliefs came before. Now you're gonna see a sign of times here. In the '60s, the sexual revolution, the pills and stuff like. I shouldn't speak revolution. Means now it's revolution of everything. So, but let's say the promiscuity that's been a rage in the world. If I Because I can say that, and rage in the world. So it says, if you look, the limbo, the game. A bit of informative is Julia Edwards, 1933, died 2017. So 2 weeks ago, 3 years and 2 weeks ago, is because we're 10 May, and we're responsible of popularizing, that's Wikipedia, limbo dancing as a performer in the 50s and early 60s, and inventing many of its variation in Trinidad. And now I made a video. I won't speak about that. Let's move forward here. Not long ago, let's move forward. Perform at gathering before funeral, commonly called the wakes. So, but how it was performed back then, it was the bar, it was at its lowest, and then every night it was successively put over and over to symbolize the dead soul of the person, the deceased, from rising to heaven. And now I'm reading here, she reversed the process to show the dancer in choreographies and in competition. She was not going to school, but she did it herself. Competitive performance, the supplelessness. And we've seen how many kids doing it and stuff, as now the dance has evolved more and more, modern dancing. So she had a song, I want somebody to limbo like me. Okay, perform in hotel, clubs, and restaurant. And finally, I'm gonna say this stuff here. You see that another reversed of the devil that is doing, like Virgin Mary, and now it's McDonald, and it's cursed meat, like God showed me. It's 2 hooks and mechanical chop. So it's not the best meat. In the air and the noise, It's demonic, it's cursed. That's why you eat that. It's blocking your pores. You don't feel good immediately, and it does that to me too. Now you see another reverse of the devil, and that's problem with the skin, because you're eating and all this stuff, fried skin, man, and it's not yours. So, and all this injection they give and all this, everything is controlled. How many days they're gonna live? I spoke about it. How many days, and everything is calculated. There's no freedom. It's pure curse. If you would see in those places, you could see, man, if you can see the devils or angels, you would see so many devils around there. It's disgusting. And the animals know, they feel that, because they're simple. Sometimes when you're simple and you don't see so much lies around you, they're much more inclined to afterwards. Just like sometimes, many times they say, oh, the cats or the dogs or the animals can feel an earthquake before. It's a bit like this, because they don't talk so much. They feel more. They're more rested and sense. They're more simple, and all the stuff that comes towards it, you can imagine. So the devil here, to finish, that the devil, whatever that person died and he went to heaven, whatever that's true or not, because we can imagine they did it, that game that started lowest and up at the beginning, not the game, but in the wakes, before that dance, that limbo dance, before she reversed it, whatever it was true or not, at least it was showing the pathway, or it was showing an example. It was showing hope, and it was showing, don't go down, don't do evil, and that was good. But the devil not happy, so to speak, that it might not be true for that person, because it started like this when the church was good. He was only able to lie a little bit like this and put a little bit confusion, but the example was there. You had to go down. Now so much that people sin and don't care about the church and going and attack the church, infiltrated the church, Freemason, everything, and all this stuff, that it went under and promulgated the arms. That's another demon, a demon of a mechanical, which is I saw it, what was it, the green eye, and it's like a spider, the machinery. When I went in Vancouver, work purgatory, and I heard don't put that, and I put it last year, they're not gonna be happy about it. They're gonna be pissed off. Well, then, if we don't have to advance, so call it the industrial, because everybody was going deaf. And I took that stuff and I tried to, in that pit of hell, but it was just the starting of hell. And I see that this monster mechanical, now they even doing drones and robots, and I wanted to throw it out, and I said don't do it, or they're gonna get pissed off. And I think I did it, I'm not sure. And that's this thing, spiders, I think they might, without me knowing it, they might be deaf, but they only feel the vibration. So it's like these guys working there, they work there. Even me, the other stuff you will be paid like 12, 13 in Vancouver. Now I'm 25 and up, painter here, but I'm talking when you were going through somebody. It's like every day you could work. In Toronto, they don't have, what do you call this, agency, and they take half the price. Well, even then they will pay more if you go to Purgator. It will not be mud at all, but you will lose eventually. And they had to put that stuff, and I said it, hey, there's no more or something. They started to put it back anyways. But when I went, the thing is this, at least was showing, talking about a spider, look at this, get out of here, man. And at least was showing the goal and hope for future life. I read my notes, so that the devil will not go down to hell, okay? So as not to go down to hell. Why? Because sin. Why is this making money? Why is this making money, the reverse? Why? Because sin, anyways, but now you see it's going under in the sin, because the world is making money by sin, by distorting and reversing God, because the world is breeding sin, and the people, they want to sin. They want to refuse Jesus. They want to sin. They want to go around and do whatever they want, party, sexual depravity, and that's why they bind stuff like this, because their devil inside that they keep, God forbid, he has to be freed of that. You know, let's say you have 3 legs, you need 3 shoes. So if you like to have evil sexual and destroy family and behave like this and have sexual things and diseases, all kinds of stuff, and not showing for the children what is good, and taking care of the children, and going around having no children and sleeping around, and squander your money instead of investing and having a wife and everybody's happy, and even you're gonna have somebody with you, instead of just the sexual act is never finishing, it's never pure, condom, and all the bad stuff that the devil is laughing in the detriment of people. Well, you have to feed yourself of that. You're not gonna go home and put the tape of a singing of Jesus. It's like a hot shock, a cold shock, same thing, cold for the devil, hot for God. But now if you're hot for the devil, it's gonna do the reverse, or you're cold now. And so that's why sometimes people don't want to hear about God. They know, and they going through that time. So love is good. They need to, sometimes they need to say, hey, the hell, remember. That's kind of people that will touch me even more. For me, depends, because I've seen the near-death experience. So there was lastly, I wanted to say about this limbo. Do you see how the devil has laughed? The limbo, he took it, and abortion, like, limbo is the state of the infant that died before they were dying natural cause or something, before being baptized. Now before I searched limbo, I'm sure this is when this started with the abortion more. And you see, when she popularized diverse way of doing it, that's different way of abortion. There's always signs. You see, they reverse it from down to up and down. I heard I said enough, but this is the way. It's almost for everybody that dance like this, there's an abortion, we know. But the devil, we could laugh him when people doing this. Jesus Christ, it's harsh. That's it, that's enough. You can't imagine what I'm trying to say. I was trying to say, I can't say it, it's too harsh. But it's almost like a celebration of that. It's very disgusting. And God, if I had to shut up before, man, I wanted to say punish me, but please let me know more clearly. But you people, you understand that's why I had the difficulty to say. And the worst is that sometimes people are blind to this, and they still do it because they sin. But imagine, that's why Jesus, the punishment is there for people. Imagine people who know about this, the spiritual truth, and will look at a place as a lukewarm Christian, what they do, and they know, like me, what that signifies, and even, God forbid, will go and do it. He won't say to people, hey, do you know what I just did? Or took in part in my soul of. But you see, that's why punishment is also, it exists, because there's people who not only wound and turn to people, but will do it to God. And they did it to Jesus. And they did it to Jesus. Jesus said, forgive them, for they don't know. But today there's people worse than before. There's people who know who's Jesus and who he claims he is. Not only the people who they know, they read, they believe, they turn their back, and they do it to him, and they twist it to him. By the way, I invite you to see that the 15 secret torture of Jesus Christ revealed to a nun that is still has to be beatified, I believe, or canonized. She's venerable. If you have a sickness in your body, feel free to pray to the intercession and the help to God through that nun. So that makes you, we're doing this to prove to God humility, and it's well pleased. You're doing it through somebody that was probably better than you, and you're glorifying God by showing that we love the service of Christ, and he's in us, and he's in that person. And by glorifying other people, not just Jesus, we've seen the multiplication of Jesus in people, and that's it. That's why it's well pleasing to God. Amen. God bless you, Father, Son, Holy Spirit.